What's happening? How we doing? Hope you're good. Wednesday, home week. So today we're going to talk about how we can start acknowledging our wins. And what I want you to do in the comments below is give me 3 wins so far this year. Just short bullet point wins. 3 wins that you have experienced this year. Okay, let's get into it. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Bourman, and if you are coming through, then please do let me know. Drop a love heart button, comment in the buttons that you're having a great year, a great week, a great month, that you're going to start feeling more positive. Tell me something positive about you. Tell me something positive about you. And then please share this on your page or with somebody that needs it. Alright guys, so let's dive into this, because this is something that we talked about at the mastermind meet over the weekend with my 2 groups. And it's the ability to become blind to our achievements because we think too much about the things that we didn't do, or the expectations that were too high, that we set, that we never achieved. Okay? So we're going to work on that today. That's where we're going to work. And I want to tell you a quick story about where I did this. And it's one of the things that stand out for me. Then I'm going to tell you how we can get out of this, how we can start thinking more about our wins. So if you've just joined us, welcome. What I want you to do in the comments below is put your 3 biggest wins so far. Roof's leaking on me. So far this year. Okay, your 3 biggest wins so far this year. So I remember it was the winter of 2013. It was around, no, it was January 2014. And I was desperately poor, hugely poor. And I basically just gone through my divorce. I basically just come out the other side of my suicide attempts. Like, you know, it's been about a year after. I'm trying to rebuild myself. I started running my own business. I have very little money. The heating was only ever on when the kids were around, right? So it was really cold, and I had this really thin duvet, like it was micro thin tog, and I just couldn't afford another duvet. So I ended up having to wear my tracksuit bottoms and my hoodie in bed. It was freezing, and I remember building up my business, and I was desperately trying to bring some money into the house to keep the house, because I had a repossession notice in not long earlier. So, you know, everything was being scrutinized. But I remember when we finally got to that point and we built up my business, and one of the first things that I treated myself to was this high tog duvet. And this duvet, I remember on my first night getting into the bed, and I was only in my boxer shorts. We took all of the, I didn't have to wear all of the clothes, and it was the biggest win, or it was one of the biggest wins of my life. And I just felt like I'd suffered for so long, and we had struggled so much. But it kind of felt like that all of the hard work that I put into the business and into bringing in income for me, and it was just at the time my 2 kids, that duvet signified such a huge win. And such a huge amount, and showed a huge amount of effort that I put into building my business. And I also bought myself 3 Davina McCall kettlebells from the business, so we were all winning. But I never realised along the way and along the process the element of winning, because I was always thinking so negatively. I was always blinded by the things that I didn't have and the things that I hadn't achieved yet. And what I had missed was the process, was the small wins that led me to that. And it took me to achieve that outcome to recognise that win. And I was sat at the kitchen table only 4 weeks ago with my partner Jem, and I turned around and she went, "What's wrong?" And I went, "I just don't feel like I'm where I want to be in my business." And I am quite an ambitious person, and I set the goals quite high. And she went, "The James of 4 years ago would have broken his arm or leg, whatever the saying is, to be where you are today." And she was so true. And it was so true. And sometimes along the way, we do not recognize how much we are winning. Because we put this blindfold on, and we just is like, I haven't got this, or I'm not achieving that. And if you think about those words that we're using, they're negative. We're putting a negative trait, a negative stance, a negative identity on our lives and the way that we're living our lives. We're not thinking positively. We're not saying, this is what I'm achieving. This is who I'm helping. This is how I'm changing this life. This is how far we've come. We don't recognize that. Because we set these expectations that are here. Maybe we fall short of them. Maybe things don't happen as quickly as we want. So we straight away go into that negative train of thought, that negative state of mind, and we just go, man, I'm not really achieving anything. So the way that it's helped me this year mentally, and the way that I've improved myself mentally and emotionally hugely this year, is that within the first 15 minutes I'm out the house, and I feel this is what's going to be a game changer for you, because a lot of this is just chemistry in our head, right? So the 45-minute walk here that I've just done just before you, there are 3 key words and 3 key things that I do. Just check time. Number 1 is reflection. Number 2 is perspective. Number 3 is reflection. And over that walk there, I will balance and I will think about how far we've come. I will think about the past. I will think about things that have happened. But I will also think about where I am today. And I think about the things that we've done well, or I think about the email that I've received of somebody whose life has been turned around, or I think about how we're progressing forwards, or I think about my relationship with my children, or I think about my own health, or I think about my own personal development. And start thinking of it in a positive light. These are the things I am achieving. These are the things I have done. This is where I am going. And changing the chat to be more positive. Which is why I asked you to do your questions, right? What are the 3 wins? How many times have you thought about your wins so far this year until I've asked you that question? How many times have you taken stock of the things that you've achieved, the things that you've overcome, the way that you've progressed, instead of thinking of things that you haven't done? And that's how we build positive momentum, right? Over and over and over again. The minute we don't do that, we fall into that black hole of being negative on ourselves, beating ourselves up, piling on the pressure, comparing ourselves. And this is where the power of review comes in, right? When we review ourselves and we review those wins, we're like, man, I achieved today 1% a day, every single day, forever. And that's when we start feeling mentally and emotionally more composed, stronger. And that is what's really important. If we're going to develop, we've got to start recognizing how incredible we are, the things that we are achieving. The losses are simply like part of the process. So don't focus on them. So if you haven't, I want you to put in the comments your top 3 things that you've achieved this year. All right? Hope that helps. And if you haven't registered for my free masterclass on the 8th of March, you'll be mad to miss it. Okay, we're going to go over 3 frameworks that have helped thousands. I think we've had over 10,000 guys come through our doors now, in terms of 5-day challenges, webinars, like free ebooks, people buying the books. It's going to be massively beneficial. So the link is on the bio here somewhere, or on the copy. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Tomorrow's no social media day, and I will see you Friday. Ready to go, amigos.